pay off your card, your score should actually go up. Now, there's a couple things I want to keep in mind. You may be attributing a drop in score to something that's not actually causing your score to go down. It may actually be something else that's causing the lower score. And another thing to keep in mind is that just because you pay off your card doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to show up as a zero balance on your credit reports. Remember, the credit reporting agencies only get an update once a month from your credit card issuers. And so it's likely going to be based on the previous month's statement balance. And so while you may pay off the card or pay the card down, what's important is what it ends up looking like on your credit report as to how it's going to impact your score. So I'm a really good example of this. I'm what's called a transactor in the eyes of a credit card issuer. I don't carry balances from month to month. That's called a revolver. Right. And so even though I always have a balance on my credit reports because I use my cards a lot, I never ever pay interest and I never revolve a balance, but I never also have a zero balance on my credit reports.
Gotcha. Okay, so the short of it looks like it's just maybe not considering when the reporting date is, and like you said, perhaps she's got a balance that's all the way up. Now, this happens a lot with people who have maybe lower limit cards, like a lot of secured cards. I'm not saying that this is what you have, Rebecca, but maybe it's a $300 secured card and you paid it off, and then you went out to Ruth's Chris, and the bill was $296, but that zero balance when you paid it never got made its way over to the credit report.
So look, this doesn't need to be a mystery. I mean, there's a roadmap to why your score isn't higher for every single one of us, and every single time your credit score is calculated. People tend to forget that when a score is calculated and delivered, the deliverable is not just the 3-digit number. It's the 3-digit number plus the 4 factors. And the 4 factors are specific to why that particular score wasn't higher. And so if you have a score that has gone down one month and you have the same score from the same source from the prior month, compare your score factors and see what's changed, and perhaps it's going to identify something else that is the reason why, or the culprit as to why the score went down.
Got it. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, hold on one second here. Okay. All right, so from Robin, do closed accounts lower your FICO score? Example, if a company closes because of going out of business, or a car is paid off, or refinance, I think is what she's asking, and that account is closed.
So that's certainly possible, right? So I'll do a credit card example, and then I'll do an installment loan example. So if you close a credit card, the Warriors group knows their stuff, and it's probably very likely that they know that closing a credit card has a possibility of lowering your score. So that's a great example of why closing account, doesn't matter who closes it. It could be you asking that it be closed, or it can be the issuer closing it without your knowledge or request. But the fact of the matter is it's now closed on your credit reports. And when you lose the value of the unused credit limit, your utilization ratios can spike and your score can go down even if you've done nothing at all wrong. So that's the credit card example. The installment loan example, and your question is actually a really great example, because in your question, Robin, you have refinanced a car loan, which means that you took out a new loan to pay off a pre-existing loan. And so what you've just done is you now have a pre-existing loan that has a zero balance, and hopefully it's in good standing, which is great.